Good evening. Please stand as you are able and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for joining us and welcome to the meeting for the Town of Speedway Board of Trustees for September the 9th, 2025. We're working from a 13-item agenda this evening, and the first agenda item is to approve the minutes of our last meeting held August 12th, 2025.
I'll move that we approve the minutes from August 12th, 2025.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on this motion? Seeing and hearing none, would all those in favor of approving the minutes from the last meeting please signify by raising a hand? And that is unanimously approved.
Minutes are signed.
Thank you very much. Our second agenda item this evening is a report on the Advanced Placement Program. Mr. Borum?
All right, good evening. As always, it's an honor to stand before the board in this community to discuss Speedway High School's unprecedented academic achievement in regards to the Advanced Placement Program. I don't know how to humbly say this, but I guess we've done it again. So as you can see in your packet, we have really continued to, I think, defy the odds in terms of our advanced placement program. Again, to give you some context as to what Speedway, the school town of Speedway High School is doing in regards to this AP program. This will be our seventh consecutive year as being an AP District Honor Roll. And the metrics used to be an AP District Honor Roll is 35% of your cohort, that graduating class, earning a qualifying score. And as you can see in your packet, the class of 2025, that graduating cohort is 72%. So we're leaps and bounds beyond the metrics they use to recognize schools that are having great achievement with their advanced placement program. I think what is so remarkable about what we have been able to accomplish is that it's not just one segment of our population that is achieving with our advanced placement program. It is our entire school, our entire student body. As a minority majority school, as a school that is has a high percentage of free reduced lunch students, those categories often indicate performances that are below the standard or below the academic, below academic excellence. We're expanding upon each category, each demographic, and making sure that we're intentional that when our kids take an AP course throughout their 4 years of being at Speedway High School, they're able to earn a qualifying score, have the most rigorous curriculum so that they're best prepared once they go off to whatever they choose to do when they graduate from high school. Remember that our students do a plethora of things when they graduate. They may go into a 4-year institution, they may go to a 2-year institution, they may join the military, they may join the workforce. But we've always had the philosophy that if our students are best prepared to do whatever they want to do after they finish high school, that makes for a better person, a better student, to be able to tackle whatever goals that they may have post-secondary wise. So whether you're going to be a plumber, a cosmetologist, a doctor, a biologist, we believe that you should be able to read and write. You should be able to critically think. You should be able to compare and contrast and analyze information. And so we've gone all in with our AP program. And again, thanks to our board, the school community, for its financial investment, as well as its moral support, because what we have done over these 10, 15 years with our AP program continues to, I think, impress everyone that looks at these numbers. So I won't go through this exact packet. You can see the highlights. 97% of Speedway High School seniors took an AP exam. Again, that is unbelievable as well. And not that the 97%, we're not just getting those students to take an AP course or to take an AP exam. 72% of the class of 2025 earned a qualifying score. So, as you can see, last year when I presented to the board, we were at 61%. And I know at some point I'm going to say, I don't know if the numbers will stay the same. They may regress, but as you can see over the years, we continue to outperform all the metrics that say this performance is not possible. So again, kudos to our staff, our teachers, our leadership team, this board, this community, for all the investment that they have put in for our students to be successful with this AP program. So at this point, I can take any questions that you may have regarding the packet, and I think I always do better when I can just answer any questions that you may have.
Do you think that, here we are in 2025, and we're still, we still have these metrics that include post-pandemic. Do you think that we're, have we made up the ground? Are we back to, are there still ways that the pandemic is affecting those in high school now?
I think
maybe there's a question in that doesn't need to be answered, which is in general, but I guess I'm talking about in terms of AP.
I mean, and again, humbly, I would say that our students, if you look during the pandemic year, we did have that class that was the graduating cohort. If you look at the 44% from 2022, that was the senior class. That was our lowest performance over the past 5 years. And we've nearly doubled that percentage pass rate for this graduating class. Now, a lot of that is intentional. We try to make sure from our counselors to our teachers to our plug time program that we're very intentional in trying to make sure our students that earn a 2 we give them additional instruction during our plug time periods. AP teachers have access to those kids so that they are able to synthesize the information that they're taking in those courses. Now, AP courses from year to year change. So if you took an AP psychology course as a junior and then you do an AP macro course as a senior, those are different courses, but being exposed to that rigor, being exposed to the types of questions that they're asking you for you to expound upon, we have found that our students have been, again, I think it's a culture situation. It's not at all odd for our students to be in multiple AP courses. Students that may not be in AP courses in other districts are taking multiple AP courses at our school, and it's not a stressful situation. It's not I'm up to 2 in the morning, or I'm super stressed. We try to make sure that the master schedule works where if a student takes that chance to take the AP course and they're struggling, we look at their progress at midterm, and if they need to be removed from that course or adjust and maybe try next year. We try to we individualize a lot of things for our students to make sure that they're successful. So to answer your question, I would say that we are past the pandemic response that I think you've heard a lot in education, and not as an excuse. I think it was a real thing. You did have regression. You did have students who were not reading at the level that they were pre-pandemic numbers, but I think the data supports that our students have completely rebounded from whatever adverse effects they had from the pandemic.
That's great.
Can you expand a little bit on open access? We talk about this all the time.
Yeah, open access, and Dr. Trebley, I think we've gone beyond open access. Before, I always use that term open access. We want to make sure all of our students, our entire student body, have the access to the most rigorous curriculum. I would maybe call it now even open/intentional access. I had a conversation with our counselor just last week, just a couple of weeks ago, about a student who we wanted to take an AP course, did not want to take that AP course, and they just for a multitude of reasons. And this was a native-speaking Spanish student, and that student was encouraged to take that, not forced. But we were able to work around with his schedule to make sure that he would have access to take the AP exam, have the curriculum, and still be able to be in the courses that he wanted to be in. So it's a dance between counselors, teachers, students, parents, to make sure that our students are challenging themselves with the proper support. Obviously, we don't want a student in an AP calculus course that can't pass algebra, but we want to make sure maybe there's another avenue, another course, or another subject that student can shine in, that we want to try to make sure that they're exposed to still a very rigorous curriculum. So our open access has been very intentional. Thus why we have 97% of our seniors taking an AP course.
Where other schools, you have to have prereqs and this, that, and the other.
Yeah, so for
just
other
to be able to
schools,
get into classes, to where since I've been here still, it's more of an access for all students.
Yes,
across the board.
If you hear about the phrase AP potential, that's where they use PSAT scores. A lot of schools, and even the College Board, uses AP potential to identify students that maybe should take an AP course. We looked at that data from the kids who take the PSAT, and while it can be valuable, it is not the end-all, be-all metrics. If we were to use just PSAT cut scores to determine who could be in an AP course, we would probably cut our numbers in half. And if we were to do that, I think we would leave a lot of wins on the table, because we're intentional in making sure that those kids not only feel that they can take that AP course, but feel supported by their teachers, our paras, leadership, everyone involved, to make sure that they're successful.
Thank you.
Kudos to you and to the teachers, because unlike many schools, it's kind of the thing to do to take an AP class at Speedway, and I don't think that exists in many other schools. I know in the past, teachers have said that they can sometimes tell if a kid's going to get a 1 or 2, 3 or 4 weeks into the class, but that student's working harder in there than they would work in a lower level class, and more critical thinking skills required. And I think that's been a great, and maybe the advantage is being a little bit smaller than bigger schools, but the culture that's created is to take AP classes, and I would think that's very unusual in most schools.
Oh, absolutely, Mr. Smith. I think we have structured our master schedule, our curriculum, to make sure that students, before they graduate, if you just come through Speedway without selecting any AP courses, at minimum, you will take at least 2 AP courses. All of our juniors take AP Psychology, and again, as you remember, we do our AP English for our seniors through a 2-year, where they do 1 semester of AP English 12 as a junior for the full year, and then the other semester as a senior, as a senior, the second semester. So we've been very intentional to make sure that the schedule at least exposes our students to 2 AP courses. There's been discussions on where else can we, again, not to force kids into AP courses, but to make sure that our kids, regardless of what they want to do when they graduate, are exposed to the most rigorous curriculum available. So we're looking at even a possible third option in the future to possibly see how that can have our students continue to take AP courses. Then if we have 97% of our students taking at least 3 AP courses, that also satisfies the new diploma requirements for them to earn their high school diploma by taking at least 3 AP courses. So even by design, I think it is, not only does it best serve our students, it also serves the new diploma requirements without changing our entire curriculum.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Are you still, I assume or what is the process that teachers are, looking at the data, figuring out what they have to, what is, at one point when we were, having the AP tip training and things like that, it seems like everyone was very forward focused on, I need to get my scores, I'm working to get my score, I'm paying attention to this, how much of that still happens?
It's still, well, we're still an AP tip-in affiliate school. We were, this board approved that. We've been an affiliate school for several years. So any new AP teacher, the MOU with AP tip-in, they're still required to go to the AP Summer Institute. So they still have to get that specific training. We do set aside funds for even our older teachers if they've done the AP Summer Institute training some years previously, but would like to go again. They go to that training. And during our PLCs, we have our AP teachers. They meet once a month, where they're reviewing that data and talking about students and where to place them for plug time. And teachers are having those conversations on how to move a student from a 1 to a 2 or from a 2 to a 3. So again, those structures are still in place that we've had over the years. And we still have professional development for our AP teachers who seek that out or who are just now teaching an AP course. So our new AP environmental science teacher will do the AP Summer Institute and still has the resource of AP Tip-In with their English, math, and science content directors who will look at their curriculum, come visit a classroom, give them observation and input on how to best instruct the students they have before them.
I think that's really important, and I appreciate that a lot, and we're grateful that, that you're doing that. I think, right now there's such attention on, whether it's kind of like tenured faculty and people who have long-term, standing who just show up and teach a class. And I think, so we've got an interesting thing here because we have good retention. Teachers like to stay with us and work with us, but yet we're not letting teachers sit back and do nothing to improve themselves, and we have the type of teachers who wouldn't do that.
Right.
And so they're doing the work, and I think that's impressive. And it's impressive, some of that, obviously, but I think some of this comes from, that continued growth that we allow our teaching staff. So I'm very proud of how you guys are doing that as well.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Mr. Borum, thank you very much for your presentation.
As always, I appreciate you all, and thank you for your support, continued support.
Feel free to skedaddle.
Our third agenda item this evening is a report on the Summer Parks Program. Ms. Smith?
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to come before the school board to talk about my favorite subject, everything parks. And with the partnership that we have with the schools, we are able to offer a wide variety of things to the community, not only the students, but the community as a whole. With this partnership, some of the things that we are allowed to do, we have the rec basketball league in the winter, the spring volleyball league that was started a couple years ago, the West Indy Art and Music Festival, being able to utilize Wheeler Elementary as a warm-up spot for the 7 bands that play is instrumental. Light the Night, the holiday event we offer the community. We have the junior high and high school choirs perform there. Trunk or Treat, utilizing the teacher parking lot for that event, which we are seeing anywhere from 600 to 900 people come through Trunk or Treat each year. And then, of course, the free swim lessons as well as the summer camps. We also have a story walk at Meadowood Park that gives kids an opportunity to not only work on their reading skills, but to get some exercise. If they walk around Meadowood Park, read a whole story, and they will get 3/4 of a mile of exercise in. So those are some of the fun facts that we have with this great partnership. I gave you all a few handouts, and the first thing we're going to go over are the participation numbers. So these numbers go back to 2004. This is something this chart was started by Mr. Bennett, and he keeps it updated based on the numbers that we have on our registrations. We have added some extra camps in. Since I've started working here 8 years ago, we've added a few extras. Some have gone away. A lot of that, for example, like the robotics and STEM, we have to have a teacher or someone willing to do these camps to be able to put those on. So sometimes when you see one go away, that's because we've lost that teacher and someone's not able to fulfill that again. And then, of course, obviously 2020, we didn't have any of the camps due to the pandemic. But the bottom shows the participation numbers year to year, and we're pretty consistent. I mean, there is ups and downs, but I'm sure that fluctuates with the number of students. If we were to look, I don't have access to that, but if you were to look at that, we might see that could potentially be part of that fluctuation. I do want to thank Mr. Bennett. He has been great in securing the adult and student coaches that we have for the summer camps every year, as well as he takes care of the work permit submissions to the state for all those that are under 18. So I do appreciate his help. There's a lot involved, a lot of moving parts to do these camps, and as well as the swim lessons, and I really appreciate his help as well as all of the staff. The next handout goes over the cost of the program. I just kind of summarized, and I only went through since I have worked here. There's a couple more years after that. The school started subsidizing these camps in 2015. Prior to that, Parks actually, or the town or Parks Department actually had a budget for it, and Mr. Bennett worked it, but prior to that, other school staff worked it. And when that budget went away, Mr. Hull at the time agreed for the schools to subsidize to continue these programs, and then the Parks became the administrator of it. So it's been a really great partnership. So this here shows the program costs, the fees that we collect, and then the amount that the schools subsidize. That amount the amount that the schools will subsidize up to $15,000 for the summer camps and up to $7,000 for the swimming. If you notice, we've stayed well within that every year. My first couple of years here, the program costs were pretty high. And of course, I was just learning the ropes of everything. But after going through a couple of years of it, some of the things we made some adjustments, especially after having the year off for the pandemic. Some of those adjustments had to do with historically, like the basketball camp, they would give each kid a basketball, which I definitely see the value in that, but the cost of that was pretty high, and it wasn't fair to the other kids in other camps that didn't get something. So actually, if you notice in 2019, I kind of had that epiphany, oh, that's not fair to all the other kids. So that year, we made sure every kid got something. Well, that wasn't very cost effective either. So after that, we kind of did away with giving them something for participating in the camp. And then another thing, shirts were included. That was part of the program. And I took that away. We were either going to have to raise fees, or we decided let's just take the shirts away, but still offer them, but the parent paid the difference. So that's what we did there, and we've done that since 2021. So that kind of summarizes the cost there, and if you have any detailed questions, I'll be glad to go over that once I finish everything else. I do want to mention some of the other things that the parks offers to the schools. There's volunteer opportunities for the students, so we have a lot of different events such as the holiday event, West India Art and Music Festival, and I'm always looking for volunteers, so it's really great to be able to give those hours to the kids who need it. So the honor roll, or the National Honor Society kids and any other key club, I know they've participated before. Some of the sports camps, we don't always have any extra money that we can donate, but when we do, we like to offer those to the sports camps. Parks started parking cars several years ago, earning extra money for parks, and I need volunteers for that because I can only park one lot at a time. And so we've partnered with the Music Boosters to be able to help them earn money as well, and they've been very consistent and dedicated to help us out with that the past several years. Whenever school groups or clubs have any type of activity and they want to use a shelter, we do waive those fees for any of those school groups. Speedway High School Spring Swing, we've been able to donate the gazebo area for them to hold their event every year, so that's been a fun event because then the community can come out. I think they see more participation with the community coming out and being involved in it than they did when it was held at the high school cafeteria. And we now have the stage and a little pocket park on Main Street, the Plaza on Main. That is another area that we can partner with the schools, especially if like the choir or the bands need a place they want to perform. We can set something up there and put that on the schedule as well. And last but not least, the very last thing in your packet is a flyer for this Thursday's Public Safety and Service Community Day. So I am officially inviting you all out, as well as the rest of the community, to come out. The police and fire department are also co-sponsoring that. They will be serving up hot dogs, water, chips. Fun Days is donating ice cream that town leadership will be dipping up, so we hope to see a lot of you out there. And with that, I'll answer any questions.
Not a question, but just a comment. I think everybody on the board probably has had their kids go through the parks and activities, and my kids had such a great experience with it. So thank you very much for the work that you do. And to me, I think it's just a great use of some funds from the school to support this, to have that kind of carry on the academic tradition and the opportunities that the kids have with the parks. So thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
All right, well, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Great evening.
Thanks, Tammy.
Thanks, Tammy.
The fourth agenda item this evening is to approve an appointment to the Speedway Public Library.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Board of Education, among a lot of duties you have, you get to appoint 3 members to the Library Board. The 2 current is Susan DeBoer and Sandy Feely, and my recommendation with Darcy Board is to reappoint Scott Spear to the Governing Board of the Speedway Public Library.
I move that we reappoint Scott Spear to the Speedway Public Library Board.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Is there any comment or questions concerning this motion? All right, would all those in favor of reappointing Scott Spear to the Speedway Public Library Board, please signify. And that passes 5, no. The fifth agenda item this evening is to approve Medicaid stipends.
Thank you, Mr. President. Last year, the board approved the use of Medicaid billing. Since then, our team has worked diligently to maximize the new revenue revenue stream. We anticipated around $60,000, $80,000. We're right around $75,000 right now, so it's been a good deal. My recommendation is to approve the Medicaid stipends to Kelly Scott, Jennifer Jennings, and Madison Evans to the amount of $1,500 each for the employees listed above, for the employees I listed.
Okay.
I'll move we approve the Medicaid stipends.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion or questions concerning this motion? All those in favor of approving the Medicaid stipends as suggested, please signify. That passes 5-0. The sixth agenda item this evening is to approve the junior high field trip, taking the band to the elementary schools.
Amy Cronin, Speedway Junior High Band and Choir teachers request to take the junior high students, as you said, to the 4 elementary schools. This has been going on since I can remember. This is not until March 20th of 2026, but I do appreciate her being early to make sure you guys are aware and you approve this. So the recommendation is to approve this junior high field trip.
I move that we approve the junior high field trip.
I'll second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion or any questions concerning that motion? All right, would all those in favor please signify? Passes unanimously. The seventh agenda item this evening is to present the 2024-2025 enrollment report.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time of year, we always talk about enrollment. Presented it in August and now again in September. Today, we have 1,696 students that attend Speedway schools. That's 18 more students than we had when I reported in August, when we reported 1,678. As of today, of this writing, we have 53 elementary sections. That's 3 less than we had last year. I'm proud to report that all of our K-3 classes in Speedway, and this is intentional, all the K-3 classes in Speedway are 20 or less students, and out of those 34 sections of K through 3, 30 of those sections have 18 or less. So our goal was to have 18 or less in those, and we've come very close to meeting that. Our intermediate grade levels, grades 4, 5, and 6, there's only 18 sections of those, and all of those sections have 25 or less, with 10 of the 18 having 20 or less. So what I'm saying is our small class sizes, we're hitting those. Our junior high currently only has 219 students, and there's somebody in this room that's been around the junior high for a long period of time. That's the smallest number that I've ever seen, and it's because one of our grade levels is less than 100 students, our 7th grade. Our high school currently has 582 students with class sizes of 140, 154, 154, and 134 respectively in grades 9 through 12. So if you take a look at what the future of this, 4 or 5 years from now, 5 years from now, we'll have less than 500 students in our high school. And 6 years from now, we'll probably have less than 450 students in our high school if things stay the way they are. It's concerning because we have teachers to predicting that we're going to have 17 or 1,800 students. So there's some thinking that we have to do along the way with the enrollment at this time. So the good news is the number I give you in September always goes up in October. So I anticipate when we come back in October, those numbers will go up a little bit. Any questions with the enrollment?
I was going to say thank you very much for keeping us up to date on the enrollment in our classes and for committing to keep the class sizes smaller, especially K through 3. So, any other questions, comments? Thank you again. Our eighth agenda item this evening is to approve a Ameriflex plan renewal and a maximum deduction.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is kind of a routine matter. We've done this last few years, and it's good for our employees. So my recommendation is going to improve this, but we'd like to increase the maximum deduction from $3,200 to $3,300 and a rollover from $710 to $660 for our employees for the flexible spending account and $5,000 for a dependent care account. So each year we try to increase that, which is a benefit to our employees that don't use that money, and it can roll over. So the recommendation is to approve these plans.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the Ameriflex plan renewal and maximum deduction as presented.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion about this change? Okay, would all those in favor of approving the AmeriFlex plan renewal and the changes to the maximum deduction, please signify. That passes 5-0. The ninth agenda item is an update on our construction projects. Mr. Roseborough?
Good evening. A couple updates. Since we met last, we had the ribbon cutting and the community, open house, which was, I think, a really good turnout. And then followed by 2 football games. This was the last time we had the meeting. And again, really good turnouts for both those events. That project's not 100% done, but we're close. We're still buttoning up some things like the signage that goes on the front. It came in with some blemishes, so we sent it back to have those fixed. That is on schedule to be installed on Thursday. We had some other issues that arose with the crowd that have since been taken care of, and then just button up some odds and ends like key fobs and security cameras. But what we've been calling Project A is really, really close to being completely wrapped up, but clearly it's usable because we are hosting events there. Along with Project A was the maintenance building. They did just wrap up electrical, which was the last step of that, so we're waiting final inspection to get our certificate of occupancy, and then we can slowly start moving into that because I don't want to rush. And with the closure of 25th Street and all the junk that we have to sift through, I want to make sure we do that right. But we're real close on that maintenance building, and that's referring to the one out by the library. And then moving closer to Lyndhurst, I'm sure most of you have driven by, but you can see since last time we met, we have all the prefab walls up. All those are up and in place for the Ox Gym, except for a couple panels that they purposely leave out to be able to get the crane in and out to put the trusses, the steel trusses up for the roof structure, which is what the current stage of the project is. So you've probably seen the crane in the air. They're setting the trusses, and then the next will go decking, insulation, and then final roof. They plan to have that done in the next couple weeks, and then by October 31st, they'll have temporary heat in the building so that they can work all winter long. In the areas where there's more part of the existing school that is not new construction but is being renovated, so that's like the area for where door 13, our most recent athletic entrance was. There was the weight room that is now being turned into public bathrooms. All the rough-in plumbing for that has been placed and poured back. And then the Aux Gym that is now becoming the weight room. The CMU walls are built, so that's the block. All those you can now get a gist of what the layout is going to be with the new concessions, the holes in the wall that are going to be doors to go to the new part. All that stuff is there. And now what they'll start doing is building all the way up to the ceiling with our drywall walls and studs, and that'll be a ways away, but that's kind of the next phase in the interior. Pretty much everything underground on that project is finished. Site work, plumbing, electrical that needed to be ran under slab and all that kind of stuff has been cut in, poured back, or is waiting inspection. So that's kind of the update on the Aux Gyms. Moving to the junior high, kind of the pain in our side here. The junior high gym floor was completely replaced. We took that all the way down to slab. So that means everything that supported the floor and the playing surface itself has been replaced. That is nearing completion. It's at its useful stage. So we actually had PE classes in there today. I know that tomorrow they have junior high volleyball game. It'll be the first event there. And I know that Amy Cronin is using that for, I think she practices the different sections of her band in there. So they'll be able to start utilizing that as soon as tomorrow. We do have some punch list items that, of course, that we're working through to kind of clean that project up. But for all intents and purposes, it's finished and dresses up that old school gym a little bit. There are a handful of other things that are going on. I know we talk a lot about the HVAC stuff. There's a handful of projects with that. The biggest one would be Allison's HVAC systems getting completely revamped. But the other things that you don't see are things like boilers. At the high school, we were able to wrap that into the current projects that are under construction, so that we didn't have to go out to bid separately. That was all bid as part of the project. That will be happening. We've replaced a number of valves, pumps, expansion tanks, had some different motors rebuilt for HVAC throughout the corporation. So there is a lot of that stuff that's going on kind of behind the scenes that just aren't these huge ticket items. There are a lot of little items that add up to one big cost. But the biggest of them all is what will go out to bid here soon and then be approved, I believe, October 10th, which is the bid process for the HVAC renovation to Allison Elementary, which we have Woody Holm in the audience here, who is the lead engineer on that project. So he would be able to answer any questions that you have regarding that. But the timeline is rapidly approaching. Rough timeline is it'll go out to bid. Bid opening will be, I believe it's the Friday before we go on fall break, and then that'll be able to start kind of putting things in motion to get the big components with long lead times ordered, so that during the summer of 2026, the major construction and completion can take place. I think that's about it. I don't know.
Woody, would you mind just doing a quick summary overview?
Yeah.
You came, so I want you to speak.
Well, thank you. Yeah, just, I mean, we've been crawling around your buildings for the last 10 years in various,
That's right.
and we don't get to do the pretty stuff. We're crawling around above the ceiling, so. But, yeah, we have been focusing on Allison Elementary. Last couple of years, we've been working on numbers and that sort of thing. So this spring, we were directed to go ahead and begin putting bid documents together. We just sent over some PDFs that are roughly 95% complete. So, yeah, we're shooting to have the advertisement appear next week and roughly a month for the bid process, and then open bids on October 10th. So, I mean, it'll be dramatic change to Allison. That system is circa 1956, 55 and 56 is when that was built. And yeah, I mean, even the renovations that were done 30 years later basically kept the same HVAC components. So it's going to be a big step. Each classroom will have fresh air, and it'll be measured in each classroom so that we're not wasting fresh air on empty classrooms, but yet giving fresh air to classrooms where they need it. So we'll be ready to go next week, and it'll be a tight schedule, the 2-month summer, to get most of it done, but that's what we're publishing, and we've done similar situations where they've gotten it done.
Thanks.
Any questions?
Happy to get that done.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you both very much. Our 10th agenda item this evening is to acknowledge $91,361.23 of grants that were received. The 11th agenda item is to approve the personnel report.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have several items on the personnel report for the month of September. The following individuals have resigned their position. Deborah Bowes, who is a social-emotional mentor at Wheeler Elementary. Keisha Elam, who is a 4-hour cafeteria worker at Speedway High School. And Darren Dantzler, who was the 8th grade basketball coach at Speedway Junior High School. Whitley Duman has submitted a leave for a disability leave, and as you can see, that disability leave is about up. She started on the first part of the school year, and it's due to be up on September 15th. For employment, Katie Martin is going to take over our musical director of Speedway Junior High School, which is great because it's been about 7 years since we've had a musical at Speedway Junior High, so that's great. Alex McCool, head softball coach at Speedway High School. Darren Dantzler, remember I said he resigned his 8th grade position. That's because he's taken over a boys system basketball coach at Speedway High School. Desmond Denani is going to be assistant basketball coach of a half stipend at Speedway High School. And Deontay Means is assistant basketball coach with a half stipend at Speedway High School. And then we I've hired a long-term substitute teacher, Bailey Ross. She'll be an English teacher for 8th grade language arts. That teacher has gone on FMLA leave starting on October 1st. With that, I ask that you approve the personnel report as presented.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the personnel report as presented.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion, or are there any questions concerning the personnel report? Hearing and seeing none, would all those in favor of approving the personnel report as presented, please signify. That passes unanimously. The 12th agenda item is a recognition of visitors. Thank you very much for being here. And other business. Is there any? Okay. And therefore,
One thing that kind of fits with what we usually do here is just to let the community know that the board will be going to the state school board conference. So, it's something that we do, taking time off of work to go and make sure that we are, staying up on what we need to do to be the best board for the community.
yes,
That's next week.
it is next Monday and Tuesday. Okay, so at this time, we'll adjourn to approve claims. Thank you all very much.